I imagine you're watching this video because you're wondering, can HubSpot support our international business by creating different multilingual pages on our website? And the answer is absolutely yes. HubSpot is a fantastic platform for hosting multilingual content, like creating your pages, creating your website in lots of different languages to enable you to expand into new markets, to, create your new website in HubSpot and serve your existing markets really well. HubSpot has fantastic capabilities to turn different components of your website into the languages that you need to serve. Whilst creating multilingual content in HubSpot is fairly simple at the page level, there are different technical considerations, content translation decisions, SEO implications that we do need to consider as we, create that content in different languages. So in this video, I'm going to be talking through some of the different components you need to think about when creating multilingual content inside of HubSpot. I'm going to give you a live demo of actually how it's done and how you can then edit your different pages in different languages, and the different areas you need to go into in order to do that. Okay, so let's get into it. So firstly, really quickly, if you haven't just skipped to the demo yet, thank you for staying for this bit. Is HubSpot really good for multilingual websites? Yes, it is really, really, really good for multilingual websites, and here's a few reasons why. So number one, streamlined content management. HubSpot brings all of your multilingual pages into one easy to manage group. So you can simply just toggle between the language you want to actually edit and have the page editor there for you in that language, and then just hit edit or publish or update, and you'll have that there right available for you. So it's a really streamlined approach to managing that different language of content that you've got. SEO friendly structure is the next one. So HubSpot will bake in hreflang tags. It will update your XML sitemap with your new language variants and things like that. And they've really put an SEO friendly structure behind the multilingual layer of the website. So you know that by adding on these new languages, that you're not going to cannibalize the SEO impact that you've had on your core website, and you're only going to add to the impact that will have positively. Next, unified analytics. So rather than piecing subdomains together, even like different CMSs I've seen in some cases, HubSpot allows you to view all of your performance metrics for your multilingual website in one single unified dashboard. So you can analyze each of those languages separately or bring them all together to look at it at a combined view. Next point, enhanced user experience. So with features like language switchers, which you can we'll discuss, automatic language redirection based off of where somebody has entered your website, for example, HubSpot helps you actually direct users along the journey of staying in that kind of one language on your website, even if you haven't set that up intentionally. Like by turning on a few settings, HubSpot will automatically be able to provide the user with the best experience possible. And of course, you can turn that off if you want a more controlled feel and user experience behind that. Now, let's actually open HubSpot and show you what that looks like in reality. For HubSpot customers already, this is going to look pretty familiar. So in our content area and in website pages, we've got all of our website pages listed out right here, and we can edit them, clone them, look at the performance, etc. I created this page earlier called Multilingual Websites. Could be our multilingual website service, for example. And what we can see here in the page settings is that at our domain level in HubSpot, we're already set to be an English speaking domain. So we don't have a language category added at the page URL level. We also don't have our page language set yet by default. So that's all just fine because we set it at the domain level. I can now publish this, and that's our English version of this set. Good to go. Well, our UK English version, because we also have a US version of our website. Now we can have a look at how we actually create a multilingual version of this, and it's really, really easy. In File in HubSpot, multi-language here, we have two options. We can create multi-language variant, or we can AI translate. So what these two do is allow you to either translate this page as is or create a new variant of it. They kind of do take you down similar paths, or we can create a multi-language variant of this page, so a new version of this page in a different language. So we're going to do that, and I want our new page to be in Spanish, and it's going to ask me if I want to translate this page automatically using Breeze, which is also powered by DeepL, which is a translation software. And seeing as I don't speak Spanish and we don't have a Spanish team, I'm going to translate using DeepL. Now, it's worth saying, whilst this is running, that we do have lots of multi-language customers that we build websites for, and they have tried this tool out. It's a very good starting point, but it's always worth having a local language speaker actually review and edit this copy if needed. You know, your business's reputation is on the line to make sure that this is accurate and reflects your products and services and offerings in the best way possible. So we want to make sure that it is, good and accurate for that market. But we can see here that our entire page has now been translated, with the exception, by the way, of HubDB modules, because this is table generated using HubDB, using what do they call it? HubDB is a rational database that allows you to create tables of content and then draw from the rows. So you would need to create multi-language variants of those tables or of those columns and rows inside of HubDB, and just inside the module toggle which one you want. But you can see the rest of the page is being translated, no problem at all. And what we can see here inside the settings is that it's already added the Spanish category to my URL. It's added the Spanish language down here in page language. And I can easily access both the English primary version and the Spanish version here now. And I can hit publish on this, and we'll now have our English version and our Spanish version both live in HubSpot. Now, one thing that I mentioned earlier was HubSpot's ability to automatically generate hreflang tags for you, which are essentially the coded versions of your URLs that connect together and show search engines which URL they should prioritize for which language. So if I go into our English version here and go into the page source and search for hreflang, we can see here that it's saying the alternative version, for our English language is obviously the English one. And the other alternative that we have here is for Espanol, and we have our Spanish version here available. So basically, here is your alternative version to show to Spanish visitors in your search engine. So really, really crucial part of multilingual site is making sure that your hreflangs are set up correctly, and HubSpot does that automatically for you. What isn't to love? All right, let's show you some other things that can be translated, because the questions usually are now that's all good for website pages. What about blogs? Your blog can also be translated into multiple different languages. You find blog in your settings inside of HubSpot over here. And what we can do, we've got a few different blogs here, but all we have to do there is just create a different multi-language version of our blog, and then we can start to add new blogs to that language set. And it's a similar kind of setup in the fact that we'll get a different category, language category here in the domain, and we'll be able to publish blogs to that language set. So really easy to do there. That's a similar kind of setup with knowledge base as well. So if you're running a product that requires service information about your products and information there, then you can create multilingual versions of your knowledge base in a very similar way to that. There's another cool setting to show you actually in domains, which we touched on earlier, which is the auto language detection. So in domains, by the way, as I mentioned earlier, you can set your primary language in this area of your domain there. So if you want to actually, make sure that your primary domain is set up for a particular language, you can do that in this domain area. Now, what I can show you in language settings over here is that we've got, and you can see it a bit more clearer here. This is a shortcut to be able to change the primary language. By the way, I think if you want to change this, you actually have to go through HubSpot support. It's not an easy change, so don't make any rash changes here dramatically. Like, make sure, just double check what the process is here for actually getting this renewed. I'm pretty sure HubSpot support are required to help you out with that. But what we've got here is enable language specific redirects. So when there is a specific language version of your website available and different pages available, HubSpot can detect that and serve that version of the URL on the page. Let me show you. So our multilingual page that we just published, HubSpot multilingual, website service offering. This is a English version of the page. Now I can see as I browse through the rest of the site here, you can just see it in the, maybe we can highlight this, in the bottom left of my screen there, you can see at the end we've got the query hslang equals en. So if I was on the Spanish version of this, which I could go on, right, and this is something else we'll talk about in a sec, because the other version here is Spanish, and you can also see that in the URL, but to actually get your language switcher to display in the correct way that you want it to, that is a development task that you would either have to do in-house or work with a HubSpot developer in order to build your language switcher out, make sure it fits your navigation, make sure it fits your brand, make sure it actually works. So like you can see here, if we had a Spanish logo, we'd be able to go to our Spanish version. But for example here, I can click on this service, or let's choose a different one instead, so we can see some visual differentiation. And this continues me in our EN service on our website. If I had any different languages set up there, it would still continue me down the EN path. And if I was on the German version, for example, if we had one, it would then continue me on that path. So let's try out the US, for example. So here we go. We have a US version of our site because we have a US office too. If I now go to websites and back to this page, you can see lang in the bottom left. Let's highlight that again. This time it equals ENUS. So even though in my navigation, in my items, I've just selected the UK English page, actually by enabling language specific redirects, HubSpot identifies that, oh, okay, you're on the US version of this site. Let's keep you there. Let's serve in our URLs the language specific version of that page, of that website that you're on. So for user experience, it's really, really good. And this is much better than automatic redirection based on like IPs, for example, because that has a ton of issues around like SEO and user experience that are not great for lots and lots of different reasons. I could do an entire video on that, but this is a really great workaround to maintain a positive user experience. One last thing to consider is translating your global content. So your navigation, your footer being prime examples for this. Now we're lucky enough that our main two languages we have are UK English and US English, kind of done for an SEO benefit, by the way there. But if we were serving, Spanish or German native speaking languages first, or some Asian markets, that really prefer to read in their local language, then we also would need to translate these global elements on our website too. And that's really easy. We click into the global element itself, and this is going to look different for every website because the way that we built this navigation, because it's a mega style, is within this module here. But you can see that really easily we just have the ability to add multilingual variants to this here. So I can just select which variant we would want to display there, and I can create a new Spanish version of that global content and publish that to this if I wanted to right there. So yeah, really easy to control all components of multilingual parts of your website using HubSpot, and the user experience both on the website and behind the scenes for you updating the website and creating it is really, really seamless. So HubSpot overall for multilingual sites is a brilliant choice from an SEO benefit, from a content management perspective, from a user experience perspective. You will be in really, really capable hands with HubSpot's Content Hub.